Welcome back everyone to episode 14 of Let's Play Advanced Tactics Gold. That's a bit of a guess. My new favorite saying is it's the episode after the previous one. So I'll stick with that as a safeguard just in case it's actually 13 or 15. But let's see, what are we going to do on this one? We finally reestablished our railway connection north to south, and the most important thing for that is going to be our ability to add these horses to some stuff. Now I'm going to transfer them to this unit first because the horses won't be necessary right away. So let's just transfer all the horses up there. And you can see that we're not using too much of our rail capacity. We can now use our rail capacity, which is the nice thing. But yeah, so we will definitely start using our rail capacity a little bit more. And we don't have enough actual units in our Supreme Headquarters to assemble any new divisions. So basically everything's being used to reinforce right now. I have found a little bit of a nice point that this ranger unit can move elsewhere because this machine gun moves in. So let's move him down. Obviously we need to kind of shift some forces south since this is where the line is buckling a little bit. Although, there's something to be said about crossing the river myself. Now, if I do cross the river here, I will be out of supply unless I take this hex as well. But you can definitely see that's an extremely possible scenario. This is very weak. This is extremely weak. So, could we actually do it? I don't know. What is our river penalty? 50%? Well, if we're gonna stand any chance of success, I wish I knew how much is it to cross the river? Oh, okay. So only one attack will be. We will only succeed with one attack. But if this machine gun, readiness is 25. If I contribute with this machine gun and these, okay, just one of these guys, the attack stack isn't terrible. Then I use the other guy with 3 hexes to get, I think it's possible. Then the question is, what is most important to do? Because I do have this unit card, I might as well try to play this charge. So it says it should give my my infantry unit a bonus to combat. Let's play the card and use it on this machine gun, which I think this is how it works. I tried this off camera and it seemed to work. I didn't actually attack with it, but it seemed to work. HQ proximity is a little bad. I'll probably move my headquarters a little closer because I'll take everything I can get right now. Okay, so let's select this. He increased combat effectiveness by 50%. So now we can see that these units are both adding 48% to their combat value. Let's also, although it will slightly endanger good old Dwight, let's move him 1 hex closer to the action here. Just because I'm not going to care as much about these units up here. I think they're just in a defensive stance. We'll worry about them at some point later, but for now, our most important threat is securing the south, the river in the south. And actually this is silly because I'm actually pushing past the river, right? Yeah, that is quite silly. I don't know why I'm doing this. Just because. Similarly, we're probably going to want to move this guy 1 hex over here, which should get him 1 closer to all these guys. That increases their HQ proximity by 20%. It's all going to be a little bit helpful. Now, we'll probably attack with this guy because with only 2 units attacking, I suppose we want the better of the 2. You know, we want the higher quality. There's going to be 3 units attacking here, so it's just the ratio of its effectiveness is less. I don't know if that really makes sense because technically this one is going to be doing a lot more damage since it's not attacking across a river. But anyways, let's go with it. We've made up our mind. Let's commit. Okay, not a good start. Oh, okay, things turned around in the end though. We lost 2 submachine guns and 2 rangers, and they lost, well, let's do the counting this way, 13 riflemen. That is worth it. And the more important thing is we've secured a little section across the river. These units back here are really likely to be headquarter units because they're standing that far back. That's about, I don't know, it's just the distance that you usually expect your headquarters to be at. So that's another thing. What is our goal with this? I just want to force this unit back across the river. I just want to push the Germans out of my territory. If we can do that without actually having to assault this insanely fortified hex, then that's even better. Another thing I could do is actually wait until next turn. Yeah, sad that I lost 2 submachine guns here though. Although hopefully now that we have establish this connection. That should be fixed by next turn. Now let's just take a look and see how our supply is for this unit. Oh, well, he's a gray, so let's get the Supreme Headquarters. Good, so he's still at 62. That's good. It's pretty vulnerable way out here, but again, defense is very highly valued, and I don't think these units can cross and then still attack. I'm almost sure they cannot. And certainly the armored units cannot. So another idea, like I said, is if we wait or we push our units forward, we definitely could push units forward. This unit can move forward here as well. We could try to take and surround this unit, which would be a massive loss for the Germans. There's armored cars, infantry guns, just lots of good things in this hex. I suspect that they'll be smart enough not to stay and stick around for that, but the only problem is we will have to go across the river here. And I still don't know exactly what the river penalty is. I suspect it's 100, which means you're instantly only in yellow supply. And I prefer to keep my units in supply. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and move this unit over, and he will be attacking. Do we have a preference? No, not really. I guess it just matters which way we push him, and I'd rather push him north than west, because that just takes us further away from the front, and we'll attack him. I don't expect to lose a unit. It's possible, but nope, did not happen. And we will push into that next hex. And that should be the next turn, should be the last. I mean, if I were them, I would have just surrendered. It's just one guy, just to annoy me. Keeps me behind the front one more turn. Okay, now here's where things get a bit interesting. They did push a little too far, and I think this was an overextension. Instead of, there's two things I could do here. I could try to push this unit here, or like shuffle some forces around, cut this unit off, and then attack this unit by attacking this unit. If we take this hex, then we cut this unit off. I'm suspecting that these are headquarters units, so I'm not expecting that there's too many reinforcements on the way. Now I do kind of want to bombard this hex because there's so many units here. Excuse me. The good news is we have 4 artillery here and then 3 more. So we have a total of 4 artillery units that we can use. Maybe the best thing for us to do is artillery here, attack this unit, he'll fall back here. Then artillery this one with 2 of them, and then artillery this one with 1 of the remaining. Because I think this is going to be the weak point. I do eventually want to push east, and the best way to do that is to push around the forest. Okay, actually, yeah, I still think that's true. Unless we can really bring our artillery to bear, it's going to be hard to use artillery in the forest regions. Now, the good news is I can, with these new horses, I can now create units, with horses, and those units will be very, very fast moving through the forest or along roads or anything. It will take a turn for these horses to get their readiness up, so I'm not going to add them to any unit this turn, maybe next turn. So for the time being, we're just going to kind of, I don't know if the best way is to just to transfer them in. That's probably the best way, to move these artillery forward and then transfer a bit. Okay, but let's start with the very first thing, which is bombarding this unit. I'm going to use the weakest artillery we have, which is the one in here. Because I think that this unit is already weak enough that we could attack it and destroy it. So I don't even think we needed to do this much, but it was still effective. Now what we're going to do is move this machine gun down and contribute with the attack from basically from all sides. We're also going to create a new unit of machine gun here. It's a little redundant because I want these to be one unit, but since I need to attack this unit with machine guns, and I don't want them to be using the staff members. So let's transfer just kind of a weird unit of, let's put in 38, so I have 2 groups of 20 in the end. So when these guys meet up in this hex, I'm going to have them transfer so that it's 20 and 20. Now this unit is going to have 75 readiness because I transferred it out, but I think the effect of attacking is more important here than actually having a high readiness unit. Just surrounding this unit by more is going to cause more damage. So now let's do this pretty insane, overpowered attack. And yeah, I think we'll use all the units, increasing our concentric bonus and increasing our attack value, just to do even more damage to them. I am surprised we lost so many machine guns, but Okay, I think in the end we lost 6 units total, including a ranger and 4 machine guns. But we killed 37 rifles, 7 machine, I mean, blah, blah, blah. We killed a lot. So it was worth it. Now, let's have these two move in. Oh. Did I not attack with him? I must not have been able to attack with him. Okay, because he can't move in. Well, let's move the machine gun in. And let's move... Well, I guess that's all we can do. So that seems a little worrisome because they do have a pretty strong unit here. But what I'm going to do to eliminate that is bombard the heck out of it. And because I'm a little bit concerned, I'm going to use my most powerful 2 artilleries. So hopefully we'll get some good casualties here. This retreating units means massive loss of readiness. So although we didn't kill too many units, we should see, yeah, the readiness dropped by almost a third. And their entrenchment is down to almost nothing. It's perfect. So we can see the real power of artillery coming in here. Okay. The last artillery, we're going to do the attack just as I said, with this kind of somewhat exposed. It's the only hex of non-forest that we're looking at, so. And just they have so many units here, I'm just hoping for free casualties. Not that many, only 5 supposedly. Again, I'm not sure how accurate it is, the battle screen, when you're doing artillery. I know that your projections on the units are not correct necessarily, so I can't determine if, you know, the actual damage is correct. I'm thinking of doing a multiplayer let's play of this, and I'll be able to ask my opponent, oh, how many did you actually lose? So we can verify if the damage that you report is accurate or not. Okay. Okay, let's see here. So this northern area I feel is secure. These machine guns are going to be exceptionally good on defense, remember. So even though their readiness is pretty low, we're not going to worry about it too much. Oh yes, I remember. Now I'm going to create a new unit. And let's just see how low the readiness is if we do the artillery by itself. It's 75, and now let's see how this readiness is affected if we do the 4 horses. I think it's a horse per artillery. Yeah, so their readiness is down to 19, which is not a whole lot lower than what it was, 25, but it does make this whole unit a little bit weaker. Mainly it's just going to mean that there's lower action points. However, the funny thing is, the amount of action points this artillery gets should not be reduced, so it should still get all of its action points next turn. And although the horse will have lower action points, which means this unit will be able to move not quite as far, the ability of the horse to pull, so now this is a horse-mounted unit, because if we look at analysis, there's 40 weight, and our horses are carrying all 40 of that. The extra action points that we're missing out on, because this horse unit won't be at full readiness, so it won't have full action points, is still going to be better because the horse moves so much faster than the artillery. So what I'm trying to say is the horse unit making this action, if it has, let's just say 60 action points at the end of next turn, that's still better than only moving the artillery by itself with 100 action points. Because artillery just moves incredibly slow. If I had any artillery with any action points left, I would demonstrate this, but I don't. But it's basically like 40, a minimum of 40 or 50 per movement, which usually means you can only get 1 square, whereas horses can move 5 squares. I think it's, for horses, it's like, where'd you put it on? This one. It's like 20 along everything. Yeah, 25 along almost everything, and 20 along the roads. So, really good. Alright, so I think that's probably it for this turn. Is there anything else I wanted to do? This one also had a charge unit card, but I don't see... Oh, well that would have been useful to play here, actually. Did we want to attack crossover? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's choose to increase one of these guys. No? What about these guys? 71. Yeah, let's select this guy. Okay, good. So, I haven't seen any negative effects, like none of my guys have ever died or been injured. My headquarters dudes. But supposedly, according to the text, that is a possibility. Alright, so no artillery is available here, so let's choose this ranger unit. Of the two, let's just, since their combat value is the same, let's just choose the one with a lower entrenchment. And then we don't have much of a choice here, so let's attack. And this could be bad. It's not terrible. Huh. So we lost 10 and we killed 22. That's over the 2-to-1 ratio. And I guess we just move a bunch of people in now. Maybe leave this guy here and then move this unit in. That seems to be the sensible thing. The question is, are these guys still in supply? Yes, they are. But this is 87, so we have to be careful about doing anything more than this. Which means that from this square, we can only move 2, and then after that we'll be cut off until we get back onto roads. But that's fair enough. And hopefully this is enough pressure on this unit so that they start pulling back. And then I can retake the river, and then I can put more units to work in the south, which would be good. Okay, one last thing, production note. This is my new production, so I'm getting still a lot of machine guns and a lot of submachine guns, but I really ramped up my ranger production, which was down, and we saw that at the end of last turn, I didn't have any extra, I still don't have any extra ranger units in here, so we'll get a few more. Okay, but let's try to end this turn and get 2 turns done. Last thing I want to do. I have production points. I'm going to increase my artillery. If you do this before if you upgrade your units before they have taken any action points, they still lose all their action points, but there's no readiness penalty. So what we're going to do now is go to statistics, order of battle, and auto upgrade everything. So this, it already upgraded the supply line, the production center, so this is now artillery 2. And now what we did is actually upgrade these units. The only thing that happens is that they lose all their action points for the turn, but since these were already used, there's just no negative effect. And if we just do a quick comparison of combat stats between artillery 1 and artillery 2, you'll see that the only difference is that I think I did artillery 2 and artillery 2. So it should be 33% better, right? So with 400, 100, we see it looks like 32% better. Why is it 132? I don't know. Very interesting. But anyway, we can see that it's supposed to be like 33% better. So that means next turn my artillery will be even more effective. Good, let's end the turn. I'm just a little nervous that I'm forgetting something, but I don't know what that would be. So let's see. Russians are invisible to us. An attack, but it did not succeed. And some movement. No other attack site that I saw. French movement, but what about the Germans? An attack, but we stood firm. That was not smart. Oh, we stood firm there as well. And that was a little more surprising. Wow, some massive losses for them. And Dwight Eisenvalue has gotten to level 3. Also gains a new feature. What does that mean? Oh, wow. He gives his artillery an attack bonus of up to 25%. Very nice. Oh, and he had this card. Oh, okay, so the thing I need to do is make sure that once I've used the cards, I reattach the units where they should go. Like this engineer, or no, this machine gun wants to attach to red, but he can only do that when the card is not active, when it says that percentage chance of getting the card. So Eisenvalue has the card back. He could, again, if he wanted, increase the combat value of somebody. I suppose the combat value should last through the next turn, too. Okay, let's see the history just to look at the 2 battles. So they attacked here. We only lost 2 riflemen, and they lost 57 rifles and an infantry gun. Again, that infantry gun, oh, it's less important now because they have a gun factory. Oops, actually we want to go to the battle after that as well. And now this attack into the forest. They did kill 2 machine guns and 8 submachine guns, but they lost 40 rifles and a truck. And another attack here. This was more effective for them. We lost 10 rangers, but they lost 35 rifles. Now that's 3 to 1. That's not a good ratio. And I think that's it. Yep. Okay, so now we can probably start going on the offensive in the south now that these units have started to regain numbers and regain their readiness. I'm reluctant, of course, to attack open spaces with submachine gun guards, but if that's the only unit we have available to do so, 3-to-1 advantage is still pretty good, because 86 versus 51, yeah. Obviously, I would much rather having artillery. You can see that softening up targets in the north and then attacking with artillery is really, it's pretty devastating. Now, we're gonna have to do this in a smart manner, because they have really reinforced this hex and they've weakened this one. Is it therefore worth bombarding this one, which we definitely can do, and shuffling units through? That would put pressure on these two to pull back, and from what we've seen, the French don't pull back. Another bonus is we'd be one step closer to Coutances. I think what I'm going to do is actually stop this episode. I don't want to do too much thinking on camera because it slows us down. And I feel like we're kind of getting momentum up. So what I'm going to do is just think off camera, and then I'm going to record the next episode right away so I don't lose any of my own momentum. And I'm feeling pretty good about this. Artillery has really changed the dynamics here. We're not just kind of sitting back on our heels, we're able to actually attack. So I think also next turn we'll choose to upgrade our machine guns. It'll be at we'll do it now. So we're getting the machine guns, which again, this is going to be very helpful. We won't upgrade people yet, but you can see it's upgradable to machine gun 2. And if we look at the combat stats compared to machine gun 2, which I think is the first one, we can compare that. I think it's 25% bonus to attack, and it's 33% bonus to attack to their combat stats. So we can see that 33% of 30 is 10, so it goes up to 40. And they get 25% bonus to hit points as well, just like the rifleman and submachine gun upgrade. And that's going to be very helpful for defense. Just look at how insane this defense is. Against infantry, it goes up from 270 to 360. Remember that a single unit of infantry does 13 or 26. So it'll be over 10 times better than a normal infantry, almost 20 times as good as infantry on defense. That's very powerful. Okay, well anyways, thanks for watching this episode, and I'll see you very quickly in the next.